Tonight on a Great American Panel, he, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, Fox News contributor, USA Today columnist, even changed his shirt, suspenders, and tie from the Five. Beckel is here. He is a nationally syndicated radio talk show host with the Salem Radio Network and a partner at the law firm Hewitt Walensky. Hugh Hewitt is back. She, a Republican congresswoman from the great state of Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn is back. Good to see everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You know, we were talking about this, about the Republican primary and about Newt's ascendancy and Romney and the race. And you were always bragging. I predicted it as well. And you were one of the few that said Newt is going to have his moment, and he's hanging on to it.
Well, the reason I thought at first that he was going to was I thought the rest of that field was not strong enough. They were going to back up to him. And if you look at what Gingrich did, it was strategically very smart. He came out in those debates and he attacked the press, which is always good from the standpoint of the Republican base. He then took the Reagan line, let's not attack one another, let's keep our eyes on Obama. And then, more importantly, he had something substantive to say in every case. Now, what Gingrich also has done, I think, is become disciplined, which is something he never was before. And I always just say he never had an unspoken thought, Newt, but now he is getting to the point. The interview you did with him, I thought was a breakthrough interview. When he said, "How have you changed?" Sean said, "How you changed?" He said, "I've grown. I've become a grandfather. You have a different view of the world when you're a grandfather." It was very well done. My question is whether he can stay disciplined like that. I don't know the answer.
There's one other thing I think is a component of this, and many people are looking at the Republican field. People are disenfranchised with the president. They don't agree with what he has done. They are looking for someone who can fix this, who can solve problems. And they know that what they see in Newt is someone who is going to bring forth options. And they like that. They like being a part of the national discussion and having somebody that says, here's an option, this is a way we could fix it, and laying forth an orderly process that says, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, this is how we get there.
Is it Romney versus Newt at this point? Do you see anyone else breaking through?
No, I don't. I think it is Romney versus Newt. And I would point out there's one thing that brings these two together as well. They both have extraordinary spouses. Ann Romney and Callista Gingrich are both extraordinary women of great capacity and competence and enthusiasm for the fight. And boy, that makes a great difference in it. And it's going to be, I would love to have those 7 Lincoln Douglas debates between Mitt and Newt. You'd be one of the guys they'd probably trust to do it here. And I think it would be good for the country. And as much as I like Rick Santorum, who's a guy who really never got his shot in this, I think the ice is freezing over this race.
It's done. I mean, there's 2 people in this race. And interestingly enough, you know, when the Manchester Union Leader came out and endorsed Gingrich, that's one of the few newspapers that really does have an impact on a primary, because they not only endorse, but every day now, between now and they will come out with a front page editorial either supporting Gingrich or attacking Romney. And interestingly enough, when Gingrich came out with his comment about illegal immigrants, and everybody jumped and said, that's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. Well, it turns out that Romney said pretty much the same thing. And I also think Newt understands the demographics of this country, knowing full well the Republicans cannot go into a general election.
I heard him on radio today, and I asked him about that. I said, because he also talked about English should be the official language of the country.
Right.
He also said that we've got to secure the border first. I said, did you prioritize those things? And he said, yeah, I won't talk about the people that have been here 25 years that work and pay taxes and go to church until we secure the border. He didn't say that in the debate. Would that help him, do you think?
I'm not sure that things are going to help. What helps is the fact that, first of all, he has laid out something that is an orderly process. You know, this is what we need to do. Everybody agrees securing the border needs to be done first. It's just that people haven't done it. And if he says, this is how we can do it, this is how we reform ICE, this is how we reform the immigration process, this is how we deal with the H-1B visas, people are going to be more open to listen to the whole thing.
Let me ask you this question. He has decided that if Obama chickens out of those debates, the Lincoln Douglas debates, if he were to get the nomination, and I think Romney he's stayed on top of these polls. I think he's got huge infrastructure. And I know large base of support. But he says, I will follow Obama everywhere he goes. They will dictate where I go. And if Obama goes someplace, I'll be there 4 hours later until he agrees to the Lincoln Douglas debates. Does Obama have to cave? at some point?
Yeah, it's a great tactic because the center right is looking for a combative president out there to go after the president. But I think you're onto something. I think Governor Romney will be the nominee. I think Newt Gingrich is going to make him a better nominee. I think it's going to make it a much better, much more impressive display of ideas.
Close. I think this, especially with proportional
But there's a technical
distribution.
side. You know, in Ohio, you got to turn in your petitions on December 7th.
Yeah.
I don't think Newt Gingrich makes the ballot in many of these states unless he's got an army of, Bob, you know, you ran.
But interestingly enough, he's picked out congressional districts like Ohio, southern Ohio, where there's some very conservative Republicans. He's filed there. You know, he's not going to file. Look, this is Romney's problem. One, I don't think he's got a broad base of support. He stayed at 25% across the board in the polls.
Yeah, but that's strong in a southern.
No, but it's really not. A front runner this far out from Iowa generally tends to solidify in the mid-30s to 40. Okay, you got to get out of here?
Yeah, I do, but I was trying to do it
I'm trying to be
You didn't
nice
have to-
about this.
I went like this. That means wrap up your thought. And
Okay, fine.
you're a.
I have had an unspoken thought.
We'll
I'll get back to this because I think it's an interesting topic. It's an
American
interesting
panel,
question.
straight ahead. You are totally brainwashed. You were dropped on your head as a kid.
You steal that line from me.
I do it because you throw it at me every week, so I'll
But
beat you to the
steal it
punch.
from me. Are we
All right.
on the air?
Tim Tebow's 5-1 since he's taken over as quarterback. Why is he being attacked almost daily because he expresses his faith, says he's a Christian? What does he need, to be seen as cool? Does he need, let's see, a nose ring, tattoos, hang out at Occupy Wall Street? Why is there such this? You have free reign on conservative women to attack them. Black conservatives, African American conservatives can be attacked. Christians like Tim Tebow can be attacked. Why? Why are people free to do this? You can't attack liberals without being, excoriated by the media.
You attack me all the time.
You deserve
Whatever Tim Tebow is praying, I want him to call Colt McCoy on the Browns and tell him what it is. After 10 years, they're friends. They're both great believers. I don't think people care about this except crazy secular absolutists because Tim Tebow is a great American.
He's a great guy. I bet he
is a
sat
great
right here in
guy.
the
I tell you,
set.
as a believer, my problem with it is that I think the guy had, first of all, Bill Maher attacked him. I mean, for those of us on the left,
Maher's a
that to
bitter,
listen,
angry,
to have to sit
vicious
there and
liberal.
try to just say, Bill, just shut up. Just shut up. But in any event, I didn't like the idea that his fans took Jesus and put it on the back of their jerseys. Because it is our Lord and our Savior, and I don't think it's a demeaning step.
Well, here's the deal.
I really
Tim
do.
Tebow lives his faith. And at some point in his upbringing, his parents said, look, if you're in a trying time and you want to still your heart and you want to focus your attention, stop and pray. Stop and recenter yourself. And Tim Tebow understands the chief end of man is to glorify God. And he lives it every day in his walk. Good times, bad times. I think he's a tremendous role model.
I agree with you. I think he's a great person, and what a horrible thing. Now, look, let's compare this. This is what they call a flash mob caught on tape in Maryland at a 7-Eleven. Watch this tape. All these kids coming into the store. It goes on and on and on, and they're robbing this store blind. Now,
unbelievable.
Now, I don't care choose your faith, but maybe religious values, faith could help these kids, and instances like this from happening. Bob, you spent a lot of time helping kids, get an education in inner city.
I mean, there's no excuse for that except that these are kids who have no moral guidelines. They are raised by, in many cases, raised by no parents. They have no sort of
moral compass.
Yes, I mean
there's no conscience. Nobody knows that that's wrong.
I think everybody has a conscience, but I think, look, God put us all on this earth to do what we could do best. And we're put through trying times. These kids have been put through trying times.
So if I'm the DA and I would get everybody's face and identify them and try all of them, would I be doing the right thing?
Bring them and their parents into court.
Every one of them.
But their parents are non-existent. That's the problem.
But it would be a great
thing. Make these kids make restitution for this.
Good point.
And have them and their parents, they all have someone who is responsible for them. And you know what, Bob?
It would be a great thing if they had
give them some education.
It would be
That's
a great
exactly
thing
right.
if they had
Give them a
coach
mentor.
or a dad or a dad.
Tonight, someplace in America, a black child is going to be born to a crack mother. She never should have had that kid. Tonight, somewhere in America, a white kid's going to be born to a wealthy family. Do you think they've got an equal shot at the American dream? Absolutely not. That's why I'm
what
a
is your
liberal, because we
point?
have a responsibility
What
to
is
take
your
care of them.
point?
We have a
No, you do-
individuals reaching out, helping,
You should never say a child shouldn't be
mentoring,
born,
and
Bob.
supporting.
I didn't say shouldn't be born. I said that we have a
Shouldn't be here.
responsibility to that child's 18 years old. If his parents can't take care of him, we take care of him. Simple as that.
Individuals help and support to do
Yeah,
it,
who?
not
Agree.
the government.
Who?
Lots of folks who do
You
this.
do.
I do, but that's not enough of me.
Individuals
Not enough